that was me. I never ever dreamed about being a CEO. I don't know if you actually wanted and dreamed about becoming CEOs, did you? Was that something you thought about? Anybody? Has it just kind of happened? It's happened for most people. So it happened for me as well. I had lots and lots of roles at school and jobs where I was put in leadership positions, probably like you, maybe prefects, sports captains, council leaders. As I got older, senior solicitor, manager. And last year I was asked to step in as the CEO at Youthline. Our old CEO, who had been there for 32 years, and he was leaving, and the board asked me to step in. And because it had never been my life dream to be a CEO, I said, I'm not so sure about that. I don't know that I want the stress. I don't know that I want the responsibility. Have any of you felt that about becoming CEOs? Yeah, a very natural feeling, I think. So I decided my life was more important, and I would negotiate with our board and say that I would do it on the basis that I could step back into my role that I loved if I didn't enjoy it. And I did. So they gave me a 6-month period that I could make up my mind if I wanted to do it while I was in the role. And I stepped in, and I've absolutely loved it. So I think it just goes to show, remember your worth and remember what's important to you, and make sure you do negotiate for the conditions that you need that will help you be the best that you can be. So Youthline, this is our website. You're welcome to check out anything on here. The top tips, when Jess asked me to talk about what were some of the things that I think have been really helpful already in this journey around being a CEO, these were kind of the 4 C's when I looked back over this last year. Care, comfort zone, courage, and collaboration. So this is the kind of CEO I am. You've probably heard from lots of different CEOs today, and Tracy was talking about different styles, and someone asked, do you have to be an extrovert to be a CEO? And she said, absolutely not. And it's so true. It's all about you as a leader and what you bring to people. So I think it's really important that we care about our people. And at Youthline, it's a really values-based organisation. So people are there not because of the pay, but because they love it and because of their hearts. Often I'm the one walking around at night time getting people to leave because otherwise they won't go home. We've got a really dedicated team. I'm the CEO who will dress up in a wig and a onesie to go and collect money for our annual appeal in Ponsonby. Play the drums if I'm asked to by our volunteers. Stay behind and help do the dishes to make sure that everyone understands that we are equal and we've all got a part to play. Do you guys think that people are your biggest asset? Like if you think about, have you got teams yet, or you're just, yeah. Can you already see how they're the ones who are going to support you to succeed? I truly believe that. We've gone through some tough times at Youthline, and we work with some really tough issues. You probably know that youth suicide, we've got the highest rate in New Zealand. Do you know that? Yeah. And we have lots of young people who entrust us with their lives every day. And so we have massive conversations about what we can do to support them and support each other. It's really, really important, I think, that you're focused on people, focused on building your team and making sure that they can bring their best selves, as well as focused on delivery. Comfort zone. I don't know if you've seen this diagram before, but we teach young people that it's really important that you do keep stepping out of your comfort zone. Not to the point that you feel totally stressed out and overwhelmed, but bit by bit so that your comfort levels grow and you can step out more and more. And I think in what you've chosen to do, it's a really big step. It's massive. And so, you know, whenever you step out of your comfort zone, you can expect speed wobbles. And just know, keep pushing out, and you will gradually feel more and more confident and comfortable about the things that you're asked to do. I'm asked to go and speak to groups of people, to corporates, to funders, to government. We met with some of the ministers the other day, often to media. situations I never dreamed I'd be in, and I'm in them. We've had to do massive change processes at work, restructuring. It all calls on you to be brave. And that's when I wanted to talk to you more about courage. And Tracy talked about bravery. So this was an example where we had a free youth health clinic at Youthline, and we had lots of young people using that clinic. We'd advocated with local funders to try to get funding to keep the clinic going, and it was facing closure. I decided we should mount a media campaign, and there was a risk that local funders would be really aggravated by that, and we'd had some threats. We decided to go ahead anyway. I was on the 6 o'clock news and got a phone call about 5 minutes later saying that one of the wealthy philanthropists in Auckland had decided to donate $20,000 on the spot to the clinic. So that just goes to show, you just got to, buckle up and, stand up and do what you understand to be right. And often that's what we've found, is that things come around and support you to make it work. Collaboration. I know that Tracy also talked about collaborativeness. So vital. There's nothing I think that we can do really on our own if you want to have the absolute best outcomes. Do you all know who everyone is on this? Do you know who this lovely guy is? Young guy? Doesn't ring any bells? Have you heard of Jake Bailey from Christ College in Christchurch? Christchurch, hey? Yeah. So he did an amazing speech. You might have seen it on YouTube, where he had cancer and he spoke at their graduation, I think it was. Anyway, he's doing a lot better now, but his courage and his message to his peers was very powerful. And he's now a spokesperson who's going around doing some motivating and inspiring speeches to support others. This guy, Stephen Tyndall, the warehouse? Yeah? Yeah? Familiar? So they did a golf classics. They call it the Bob Tyndall, his dad, Golf Classic, and they raised funds for Youthline, $80,000, which was amazing. We all know this woman? Yes, well done. And I actually had dinner with her in here the end of last year, and we said to her, and this is courage, I said to her, she was sitting right beside me, and I went, do you know that Youthline only gets $89,000 from government, and our helpline costs $850,000 each year to run? That means we have to fundraise all the rest. And she was like, oh, I didn't realise it was so low. And since then, we've had a number of visits from ministers to talk with us about that and how that might change. So again, courage. Alison Mao, do you know her? Who knows about her? She set up that campaign, the Me Too campaign, and then there was the Me Too in the workplace campaign about women if they felt sexually harassed in the workplace, talking about their experiences. Everyone knows Stan? Cool. So Stan is our Good to Great ambassador. That's a personal development program we run across the country, including in Auckland. And he's just been amazing in terms of coming along and talking to groups of young people just like you about his life and experiences, and what he's found has kind of supported him along the way. And do you know this guy? Maybe not. He's a bit old school. He's Neil Walker. He was a journalist years ago, and he's now the comms person at Coke. So Coca-Cola are one of our partners, and they've been partnering with us for 3 years to support us through Coca-Cola Christmas in the Park, and also through our Good to Great program. And people say, why are you partnering with Coke? And I guess it's courage again. We can't afford not to. There's some corporates we might not partner with. We've talked with them about what they are doing around supporting obesity, providing more sustainable products and sugar-free drinks. And they're providing us with the money to do some of what we can do so that more young people can be supported. I think that takes me to my last sort of slide, which is around diversity, and it's really, really cool to see such diversity in this room. I think that's something that's vital, again, in terms of how to get the best outcomes. A varied team brings varied experiences and knowledge to the table, and then you can produce the best solutions possible. I don't know if you know, does everyone know that it's International Women's Day on Friday? Yeah. So part of diversity is about having gender balance in our organisations, and you probably know that in lots of organisations there's not many women who are in leadership positions, and hopefully that's changing and has been changing over the last few years. But especially for the women in the room, but also for the men in the room who might in the future have influence around who you employ in your organisations, I wanted to leave you with a video from two of the lovely young women I work with each day at Youthline, just talking a little bit about their experience of having female leadership.
Hello, my name is Julia and I work for Youthline Charitable Trust.
Kia ora, my name is Stevie and I work for Action Education at Youthline.
For me, it's really awesome at our organisation that our CEO is a woman. For me, having a female leader really gives me someone to look up to, and also I can see myself progressing within the organisation.
Having a female leader is important to me because I think representation is really important, and it means that I'm able to see parts of myself in her.
Another thing is in Te Ao Māori we have a lot of women in leadership roles, and although Shae, our CEO, isn't Māori, she really encourages me to be able to step up to holding those roles within the organisation. For example, we've been doing kaikiranga workshops recently, and through those I've been able to step up and lead our organisation with whakatā, kōpere and numerous activities like that.
I think visibility in leadership roles is also really important because it shows that spaces are available for women and for people like me.
It also helps me be able to think about the values of our organisation, one of those being diversity. Having a female leader really helps me see that we're not only talking the talk, we're walking the walk in terms of encapsulating diversity and also feminism, and that men and women.
Cool. Thanks, Tony. You're good. You're good at that.
Collaborative.
Yeah, well done. Great collaboration. Okay, that was quite a lot of information and in a quite an interesting way. I know it's really hot in here. If anyone has any questions, I'm really, really happy to answer anything. And I appreciate all your attention. You've been great. It's really interesting. We've had some large corporates contact us and say that they want to support us, which is great. So Cisco, do you know Cisco? It's like yeah. So they've just donated $180,000 worth of smart boards to Youthline so that we can have a smart board in every centre, and we can also, because we've got 10 centres across the country, and also provide counselling to young people who are living in remote rural areas, which is awesome. So we've got corporates coming forward who haven't, come forward before. I think from speaking with them, because of their own experiences in their families or in their organisations, a lot of organisations, experience the same issues around mental health. And we've been asked to come and we run emotional first aid courses, and we've been asked to run those in a number more corporates than we used to. So like you say, it's definitely becoming more common. Do you talk about it at school? I'm always interested to see what's happening out there. Do you guys talk about it? You get to talk about your own mental health and how to support yourselves and others a little bit? Yeah, I totally understand that. I think that's the thing, there's a bit of a stigma still around it, but actually it's a part of being human, it's part of a shared human experience. We all have highs and lows. And so I think trying to be brave and bringing it up, especially before there's an issue, so it becomes like a normal thing to talk about amongst yourselves, is quite cool. It can help, sometimes watching a show together and then talking a little bit about if there's someone in the show who might have been depressed or have anxiety. but we're always there. Like, we get lots of young people contact us, you might help to know this, because they're concerned about their friends and how they are doing, and we can kind of help by, giving some ideas for conversation starters, or ways you might be able to bring it up, or other supports that might be available. So, yeah, it's a bit, I guess, of testing and trying and seeing what works. But, I mean, do you feel comfortable talking about mental health? Yeah? There's a sensitivity around it, yeah. I think that would be a good thing if it was more of us felt comfortable. It's just like anything else. It's just like, asthma or, I don't know, any other health issue. And what are they saying? Like 1 in 4 people experience mental health issues at some time in their life. Like, it's so common. Like, all the people I talk to, I can't think of anyone who hasn't experienced a mental health issue at some point in their life. And that includes CEOs and corporates and ministers and Prime Minister. Our Prime Minister has been very open about experiencing anxiety in her life. So it doesn't make you less of a person. It doesn't make you less strong. It's just part of our shared human condition, eh? It's so true. It's a good point you raised. So lots of different communities treat mental health in different ways, and some are more open about it and accepting, and some aren't. And so one of the things we do is we have many, many young people we encourage to come and do our development programs so that they can then be part of our helpline counselling team as volunteers. And so we have a really diverse range of people providing that service from all ethnicities and cultures, and that's in an attempt to try to kind of help reflect the communities that we support. Yeah. But if you have any ideas, we always want to know. We're always open and want to hear. So there's a thing called Child Helpline International. We think that's a bit weird because young people aren't children, but it's a whole lot of countries across the world have child and youth helplines, and we're part of that association. So we share practice and case studies, and sometimes send people across to learn things and come back, and they send people across to learn things from us and come back. We were the first helpline in New Zealand in the world, to have text helpline counselling, because we really saw the need, because everyone was on their phones, we were all on our phones, rather than people needing to ring us anymore. So, we try to respond to the needs of our community, and our community are young people. And at Youthline, you've got heaps of young people working there. I'm an older person. I still like to think I'm quite youthful, but there's heaps of very cool young people who work there as counsellors, youth mentors, volunteers, and we're always open. Our personal development course is amazing. It's a lot of people do it, including people in corporates and schools and things, and they're like, wow, that really changed their lives in terms of understanding more about themselves, how they relate to others, and how they're what the impact is on the world. Yeah, that's a good one. Yes, be specific, like absolutely be specific. And I would be, I with our team, I delegate the task, and I'm more interested in this is where I want us to get to, not how they do that. Although there's a focus on efficiency and effectiveness, it is wanting to make sure they can harness their creative potential with the task, and that often gets us into places that I never would have thought of. So be specific about the task and follow up, like make sure there's a time frame and keep people accountable. That's all right, yeah. Sounds so bossy. It really does. It's much more fun in reality. But you've got to know the buck does stop with you. Hey, like you've got a board, but you are the one who makes the tough decisions. We had to make decisions about 46 people being made redundant. That was a massive decision to make. We've had to stop services, like Tracy was talking about that, stop things that weren't working. Cool? Anything else, anyone?
Thank you.
Awesome. No, you're welcome, of course.